You know, I had a cousin that lived in Great Falls, and he kept telling me that he had a video camera. And we had an uncle that lived in Havre that I knew the history of our family. They came from Missouri to Montana, and he kept saying we should video him and get him to tell the story. But we never did. And then one day I called him up and I said, Wendell, I said, I'm going to be in Havre at 1 o'clock tomorrow. He said, I'll be there too. So he came down and we made a video of him. And he told us the story of they got immigrant cars.
Oh, yeah.
And they moved him to Montana, or moved him to Malta. And they homesteaded out there. And then I got worried about that videotape, because I had some tapes of Dwayne playing ball, and I went to play it one day and it just went. So I took it up to Malta and got DVDs made of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And we played it when we got home, and I sent it to my sister and the kids. And then we got to fiddling around, and I found another DVD that I had completely forgotten. I don't know where it come from, even of our family. And so I took it up there, and he still got it. He's going to make several copies of
That's
it,
cool.
and I'll send it to my kids and my sister in Minnesota. And so. And I guess they'll just keep forever.
Yeah, they keep pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty precious to have those, especially those early ones where not everyone had a camera.
No.
But I actually have a book that Richard Woods put together of all the obituaries from.
Oh, did you get one of those?
Yeah, from the Hinsdale Tribune.
My grandmother was a Gold Star mother.
Oh.
She had a son that died in World War One, and it'll be 100 years next year.
Oh, wow.
So he's doing a book for the library.
Oh, I remember I was over there, they were talking about that. That sounds like a really nice project.
Yeah. So I had a note from him to look up all those things that are almost 100 years old.
It's hard to believe that World War I was almost 100 years ago.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean,
But anyway, so we have had contact with him this year.
We went up to that, the auxiliary puts on a supper
mhm.
for the
Well, you were there.
Legion.
Yeah.
last night, yeah.
And I kept thinking I should ask about, they've got a World War I machine gun, a German
Oh.
machine gun up there. And when I was a kid, well, Guy Seeley had a little office up there on Main Street. And of course I was friends with Albert and Charles. And we used to sneak in there and mess with that. And when we got caught, we always got really balled out. But it was amazing. It was had a thing around it for water, keep it cool. Oh, I don't know what that thing can be worth.
There's a lot of really neat things up there in the Legion Hall.
Yeah.
One thing that makes me really sad though is they have those nice old pictures on the wall there, you know? And they have the one of the circus with the elephants.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, within the last 4 or 5 months it's starting to fall apart.
It is.
Yeah, that's the big flakes, and at first I thought it was just the sky that was
Yeah.
white. I thought maybe the process just didn't adhere that white very good, but now it's starting to flake everything else up. But-
Well, I nobody had a picture of my grandfather, Claypool, and he died before they came to Montana. And I kept looking around, and I finally found a tintype.
Oh.
And there was a guy up there in Malta that copied that for me. And so I got a picture of him.
Well, that's awful nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, those pictures are neat.
And those old ones are awful precious too. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's not like today when I can just set this up and take picture after picture for nothing. I mean, if you had a picture of everyone in your family, you were pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, they had a sugar beet dump over here.
Yeah. So would that be kind of over where the grain bins are, or?
Well, it was almost straight south of this street here.
Oh, okay. It's kind of weird to think that there were sugar beets up here.
Oh, yeah. That
Well,
was
they
a
had
big
a lot
one.
of sugar beets, yeah.
They had workers.
There was only one trouble. You had to harvest the sugar beets in the fall. And if you didn't get them done when they were supposed to be done, they froze to the ground.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, things have changed around here too.
oh, yeah, I grew up in, well, I was born in that house right over here where Dwayne Johnson lives. And then,
Dennis Johnson.
or Dennis, yeah. And Dad came to Hinsdale and he got a job. John Servant had a mercantile store up here on Main Street, and he got a job in there, and it must have been paying pretty good wages because he met my mother. She was working there too, and they fell in love and got married, started a family.
So how many siblings do you have?
Sister.
You got a
I
sister?
got a sister, yeah.
I
And
don't have any. Well, my folks were 40 years old when they were married.
Oh.
He was a homesteader. And they said it shocked the town when I showed up.
It was a good surprise.
yeah, she was lonesome.
Yeah, my grandfather, McIlvaine, did you know any of the McIlvaine?
I don't think I've known any of them, but I've heard the name a lot.
He came to Hinsdale in 1917, and he brought electricity.
Oh.
Well, they didn't have electricity at that time, so they bought a generator, and it had a diesel one-cylinder engine that run it. And he knew about diesel, so they got him to come here and operate that thing. As a kid, I used to go over there, and that thing had a wheel at all. Oh, great big, huge round wheel, and it was weighted, and it would go boom, 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 on that generator, and the town had electricity from, I don't know, 8 o'clock in the morning till maybe 10 at night or something like that.
A little bit more consistent now, I would think.
Well,
A lot of things have happened in this town since I've been here.
they could use electric washing machines then.
You know?
That was probably a big deal.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Quite a time saver.
Yeah.
Well, then we were lucky too because we got natural gas here. I remember what happened to Dad after June, my sister was born. Well, then that store burned down. So he was left without a job and 4 mouths to feed. So he went into the barber shop one day, and he must have been feeling bad and telling the barber about it. And the barber said, "Well, Homer, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just sell you this barber shop. You can make a living." Well, Dad said, "I never cut hair." He said, "Don't make any difference." He says, "I'll teach you how." So he taught him how to cut hair. And he was a barber for 16 years. Oh, I get so broke up. Anyway, it was just on the north side of the bank.
Okay.
And her uncle owned the drugstore and he had a fountain in it. And she was a soda jerk. I said, well, and I was a shoe shine boy at my dad's barber shop, so the shoe shine boy married a soda jerk. I think we're gonna make it to 70, I'm not sure, but
Wow, that's pretty special.
Yeah, Wobber was my maiden name.
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit about your mom yesterday.
You know, oh, she was so active in the Eastern Star and the auxiliary. Well, that's what Grandma McIlvaine, and my mother's mother, was. She helped get this auxiliary started. Her son was killed, like I say, in World War I, and he's buried in France.
Oh.
Yeah, they were both mother and then Dad was a homesteader out here between here and Saco out on Milk River.
Mm.
Well, in fact, I don't know if you ever went to that place.
that's his building.
That's it, yeah.
That's a nice painting.
Jimmy
I'm
Michaels.
I'm trying to place where that is.
It's
You know where the Jones place is, or Etchart?
Yeah, back
Well,
in
it's
there.
just right next to it, right just
Oh, okay.
a little ways from there.
and where the hills and the trees.
That's
If you
Milk
go
River.
across the river, you get to Sid Simonson.
Okay. Yeah, that's some kind of cool country tucked away back in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If you can stand the mosquitoes.
yeah.
and that little house on the left-hand side there, that was a homestead shack.
Behind you.
Oh, that one was
Jack, the guy that died, painted that. He
Oh.
was-
our son-in-law.
Oh, he was quite an artist.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was. Oh, his mother was really a great artist. So that was one, my Uncle Emil, that was my dad's place, and this other one here with the barn, it was my Uncle Emil's. But they joined each other, so.
Yeah.
And then my other uncle owned the Wobber ran a drugstore for years.
Julius, yeah, he was a druggist.
Oh, that has a different meaning now.
Yeah,
Pharmacist.
pharmacist,
Yeah.
That's, I always laugh when we've been going down to Arizona in the winter, and you go over to Mexico, of course, it's only 7 miles away, and they're there to meet you, all these Mexicans, and do you need, what is it, they try to sell you, well,
Oh, yeah, they
food
got-
or liquor or something. And I said, oh, I want drugs. Oh, don't say drugs. I say pharmaceuticals, say pharmaceuticals.
They think you're trying to set up a meeting with the cartel.
yeah.
But they get real excited. Don't say pharmacists.
Oh, yeah. We used to enjoy going over there, but the Americans got so picky about it. They this area that you went through, they made a big round fenced-in area that you had to walk through to get out of there. And I don't walk through it anymore, so
Mm.
we kind of quit going over there. In fact, the last time I went over there, we made a real boo-boo. I went to the doctor and he gave me a prescription for some antibiotics, and I stopped at a Walmart store there, and what was they, $70 for, I don't know, 7 pills or something like that. And I said to Charlotte, baloney on this, come on, let's go to Mexico. So we stopped on the way and picked up our passports, and she put them in the glove compartment of the car, and we drove over there, got out of that car and never picked them up and walked into Mexico. And we got ready to leave. She said, did you pick up the passports? I said, no. Why wow, what are we gonna do? Well, we were standing there lamenting about it, and this young couple came up and asked us what was going on, and I said, well, I told him what had happened. He said, well, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, you just give me the keys to your car and I'll go out and get your passports and come back in here. And I said, oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so I give him the key, and that's what he did.
But we didn't have to worry about him stealing anything because we were driving a PT Cruiser.
Oh, no, we didn't think he was stealing.
And it was
he was
right by
a
the gate.
That was awful nice of him, though.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
awful nice.
they were from Utah. I said,
Oh,
must be Mormons, they were really
yeah.
helpful.
It is really strange, though, that like going into Mexico or Canada, you can go one way, but you can't go the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the US that stops you.
Yeah, it'd be kind of nice if Canada and Mexico would stop you just to make sure you have the passport going through so you can
Yeah.
come back.
Well, I found out later though that they will let you through with if you got an ID driver's license.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. They're changing everything up.
Yeah.
And
Well,
another-
I didn't know that
Well,
at that time, and I tell you what, my mind was going wild. I thought,
yeah.
there's no motel here. Where are we gonna sleep? What are we gonna do?
Well, on top of that, the U.S. government says that our driver's licenses aren't good enough anymore. So a year from now, unless they change something, we won't be able to fly with the driver's license. You'll have to have your passport to fly.
Yeah.
I already know you can't get onto Maelstrom or the Air Force bases with just a driver's license from Montana anymore.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, anyway, that guy got us out of there. Boy, was I happy.
Well, we're
We
so,
haven't been back since. We didn't go, of course, we didn't go down there this year, but
I mean, crossing the border means nothing to us because it's just a barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
And farmer ranchers are going back and forth. I know Louis Miles said, oh.
you can't do that anymore either. You gotta go.
No, but that's the way it used to be, and at the time we first started going to Yuma, we just,
Just
it was
driver's
no big
license, that's
thing,
all
you
I
know,
had.
but, what are you so fussy about? We just could walk across in Montana.
Just a line in the sand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know I was really worried about going across borders because I went to Norway last year for school. But it turned out that, again, it's the U.S. that really worries about it. Going there was no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
They didn't check my passport or anything going into Norway.
Yeah.
I never did. I wanted a stamp though, and I never did get one.
so, but it's when you want to come back.
Yeah, when I got into Europe, Europe checked a little bit. When I came back is when they were really, where were you? What were you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was visiting family.
Well,
Yeah,
we had a trip that we took one in Europe, what was it, 9 countries?
Yeah, we went to- we
And,
flew into Germany.
The only trouble we had, we went on a tour, of course, and we came to this sign that said, "Welcome to Hungary." And, you know, we said, oh, what are we doing here? Well, you had to, when we got in there, then you had to stop and everybody had to put their passports in a dish.
You had to have your passport, and
And a
and
tour,
these people,
yeah.
these soldiers with guns got on the bus and checked everybody out.
Oh, geez.
And there was one woman that couldn't find her passport. We drove off, she was sitting there, still sitting there. I don't know whatever she ever did.
She didn't get that part of the tour, evidently.
No, we left them. But I said, "Welcome to Hungary, big deal." Yeah, that was a fun tour.
Oh yeah, that was great. Went through the Vatican
Oh, wow.
and went in, we seen the Sistine Chapel. Oh my.
Eiffel Tower, of course, that was.
Yeah.
But
Eiffel Tower, that's in France.
I mean, well, the year we were there was 1999, and they were all getting ready for this turn of the century.
Oh.
And so they were really spiffing things up and all over there.
Big celebration, huh?
Yeah, and That, in fact, they had part of the Eiffel Tower closed because they were cleaning it up or painting it up or something, but we got to go and see part of it.
That's pretty cool. I would have liked to have gone to France, but
Yeah.
there's just too much going on over there for me.
Well, yeah, it was, we were there twice, I guess, to Paris. But the place that let's see, the first trip we took was to England and Scotland. That's a fun one, especially Scotland. But we wanted to go to Ireland, and at that time, they wouldn't sell you a ticket. There was a war
They were
going
having,
on.
Oh, they were feuding at least,
Yeah.
huh?
yeah.
So we couldn't get there, so we didn't get there. But
We
got,
did get to taste haggis.
Was it on purpose?
Yeah.
They wanted-
Everybody had to take a little bit just to taste it. Yeah, I got books of each trip. I made another book, so.
Well, we got to Paris and I had a bad cold. And that night, they had a show lined up for us. And so I said, well, Charlotte, you go to the show and I'm gonna take a hot bath and see if I can't get this cold on the mend. So I did, and she went and it was a girly show. Damn, I really missed it. But anyway, I took that bath and I went to bed and they, in this hotel, they had this lady came in to turn the bed sheets back for you, and they put a chocolate on your pillow and stuff like that. And she came in there, and I said something, and I think she must come that far off the floor.
She wasn't expecting you to be
No,
in
I wasn't
there.
supposed to be there. Oh, God, I laughed. Yeah.
Yeah, we had good trips. We went to Alaska, and that was fun. 5 days on the water and 5 on the land.
Oh.
In fact, Joyce English is up there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did her is running.
Oh, that would be something to see. I
Yeah,
feel like it's a little hard to watch, but it'd be cool to see.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
did
it.
see we seen the dogs and the sleds and the stuff like that too.
Yeah, we took that tour. But Eva had been planning it for 2 years. And it was supposed to start at, anyway, it didn't start where it was supposed to, she said. But Eva said that she had planned that for 2 years and she was going no matter where. Anchorage, they thought it was gonna start at Anchorage, but it didn't. It went up further north. Where was it?
They didn't have enough snow or something.
She didn't know why,
Hmm.
but anyway, they'll get to see part of it, but they didn't get to see the opening.
I think that was maybe one of the better trips that we took.
It was.
Oh, we really had a good time.
Yeah, the things they did there. We got a helicopter ride.
Yeah, they put us on a helicopter, took us out to a
Glacier.
glacier.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not many of those left anymore.
No. Well, it was a BLM project, and you would they'd land on it, and you got out, and then this BLM.
They turned you
guy-
loose, you do whatever you want to, and they went back and got another load, and they just kind of kept.
Shuttle them back
Yeah.
and forth, huh?
Yeah, that was fun.
I think it'd be cool just to go on the helicopter ride.
Oh, I
they
did
that's
too, and you
Yeah.
can't imagine what it's like, you're just right there. That was the main thing we wanted to do, but,
You need to just go out on a glacier, that's just icing on the cake.
yeah.
Oh, we really had a good time. We took a whitewater rafting trip too.
You guys are more adventurous than I am.
Well, I had planned on they had a seaplane there, and they were taking rides. And I planned on going on that thing, and we went, we had to wait for him to come back, and And when they came back, this couple had been on there and she was so sick. She said that plane was so rough, she got us all terrible sick, so I decided not to go. But I'd never been on a plane that was, could land on the water.
Yeah. That would be something.
With the other thing we wanted to do was when we were in Florida, I talk about boat riding. We
Oh,
went-
you mean you took that airboat ride?
Yeah, we ridden on
Yeah.
an airboat.
I've never been on one. Those are really loud, aren't they?
Yeah, they had this big propeller on there, and this guy had built it, and he had a old Cadillac engine running it. And he was narrating for us, telling us where we're going, and then he said, and by the way, he said, if a snake drops on you, don't worry because they're just green snakes, they can't hurt you. And this woman sitting beside me, huh, she said, if a snake drops on me, you're gonna see a woman walk on water. And I believed her. I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Oh, I laughed.
She wasn't sticking around to figure out if it was green or not.
She, oh, God. That was a neat ride though.
Oh,
It went
yeah.
right over the,
You just
The
floated right
hills and-
across. That was one thing I wanted to do in Florida.
and we went out on the Keys.
That's something.
Yeah.
One ocean on one side of you and the other one on the other.
Oh, then we went deep sea fishing too,
Yeah.
but that wasn't good for her.
A little too rough.
Well, no, boat, it was diesel and the fumes come up over the back.
Oh.
And of course, we were in the back fishing, and they made her sick. So the guy locked her in the cabins where it was air conditioned.
It smelled just like when you're driving one of those old tractors, and I'd been,
Oh.
and all that comes back at you.
Yeah, I've been in that situation. It can definitely make you sick, no matter how used to it you
Yeah.
are.
I couldn't believe it.
Did you guys ever do a whole lot of fishing up and down here?
On the river?
Yeah.
No,
We
no, I
water
wasn't.
skied.
I really
Oh.
have never been a fisherman.
Were you good at water skiing?
Yeah, we had a boat.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I tried it once. I wasn't any good at
Water
it.
skiing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we had boat was parked right down.
we water skied from the Van Daly Dam to Hinsdale.
And some
Oh, we had some.
Swansons and Rosendals and.
Oh yeah, we had some. Well, somebody came and they brought one of them discs. You know, it was about that concave. Said, "Here, ride this thing." Well, we went to Seeley Lake that year, and Rosendahl took that disc up there, and we decided we were going to learn to ride that thing. Well, it took us a long time, but we did do it. And that wasn't enough. We got a wooden folding chair and sat on that thing, and then got up on the chair.
They used to do that on Milk River right down
Oh, yeah.
here.
Well, I've seen a lot of kids do that with car hoods on pull it behind a pickup on the
Yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
You usually get in trouble for that.
Yeah,
A little dangerous.
yeah, we were more interested in the riding on the water than in the sitting there waiting for a fish to bite,
True.
whether it was Fort Peck or,
Oh, I went fishing a couple times. Dwayne wanted to go fishing, so I decided, well, Elmer Burns was always fishing on the river. And so I said, Elmer, take us fishing. Okay, come on. Well, that was the best time we ever had. Of course, that Elmer was he just kept us in stitches all the time.
Well, that's the best way to do it is with good
Yeah.
company.
yeah, we've done quite a few things.
Yeah.
I wish I have. Hopefully, my life will be as adventurous as your guys. As you guys have done a lot of travel and a lot of really exciting things.
Yeah.
That was our plan when we got married. We're going to save our money and travel.
Pretty good plan.
Yeah, we did too.
I worked at school, I worked at the post office 9 years and at school 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And by that time I was, well, I retired in 87. And then we had to go to state basketball tournament.
Well, I bought her dad's farm out there. And when calving time came, well, you had to get up and check them calves every 2 hours, you know. One trip out there and that was it. I couldn't sleep after that. So then the seeding time came and I was just rummy. So in order to get away from that, I bought a motorhome with one of the minis with a bed up above the cab, and I parked it right out by the cabin pen. And every 2 hours I'd just spread the curtains and look the herd over, nothing happened. I'd close the curtain and go back to bed. I had heat and I had lights and I had everything, you know.
Well, that's pretty slick.
Yeah. Well, of course, I told Charlotte when I bought, her dad kept that place too long, and he was in his 80s when he finally decided to sell. And I know why he did it, because that was a beautiful spot out there. I loved it out there, oh boy. And I told Charlotte, I said, now, I'm buying this thing, but I said, when I come 60 years old, I'm gonna sell it. I said, I'm not gonna, we're gonna retire. So I did. But anyway, we had the motorhome, and so we went. And we just kept going. We never stopped.
We got to quite a few states, not all of them. We didn't get back into New York and Boston and some of those, so we took
Wow,
a tour.
That's probably okay.
We did.
So,
We left Florida that time, and there was something wrong with our refrigerator. We'd caught fish, and the guy cleaned it for us, and of course we froze it, put it in the fridge in the freezer compartment, and something happened to it. It was just a little thing, and we kept going from one place to another, and they didn't have the part. Well, we ended up in Indiana, and we were kind of lost that day, and I said to Charlotte, I gotta quit. I said, I'm too tired. I gotta quit driving. So we drove into this RV park and parked, and I was in there registering, and this woman said, what'd you do? Did you are you going to the Grand Ole Opry? I said, no, I haven't got tickets. She said, do you want tickets? Ha I said, sure. She reached under the counter and had 2 tickets for us. So we got to go to the Grand Ole Opry. I said, getting lost wasn't all that bad.
Well, we were lost many times.
But you were having fun.
Yeah.
He liked museums. So was that in Pensacola?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We went to the museum, but we stayed too long, and they closed it. And Brady, to close it, well, we had to get back into town, and so did everybody else that was working out there. And we kept going down the wrong street, and finally we stopped. Saw a couple of little guys sitting on a porch, and we stopped, and he said, you're lost, aren't you? You've been past here 3 times. I said, yep, you're right. So he told us how to get out of there.
That was nice of him.
But
Oh,
that's
that
when
was
you take the
amazing.
scenic route. See?
It was an aircraft museum.
Oh.
And we got separated, and I went out there. I was gonna go out to the motorhome, and they had a little place there you could sit down. And I sat down. This woman was there, and I said, I suppose my wife left me. I said, I've been in there too long. She says, you've been in there too long. She says, you know, my husband's been in there 3 days. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, we went to lots of museums. Any military one. To Tucson. We were at that one. So, yeah, we drove the motorhome, I don't know what, 15 years,
Yeah, at least.
and then we started touring.
Well, we decided to go south for the winter, and so we had an uncle living in Phoenix, Mesa, really. And so he reserved a spot for us, and we drove down there with the motorhome parked, and that was in 1988. And we found out that the kids were going to the state tournament, and I said, whoa, I'm going home. And so I started disconnecting the power and everything, and he come out and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm leaving. Where are you going? I said, I'm going home. What for? He said. I said, our kids are going to be in the state tournament, I'm going to be there. He says, you mean you drive 1,500 miles for a ball game? I said, you bet.
Never watched Hinsdale play, evidently.
No. So that's the year they won the state.
And we were there.
But it wasn't just us. Eugene Arnold flew in from
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque. Our minister, Jim Stewart, he had most of those kids in MYF, and I don't know where he came from, but he
was there.
he was there, and it was just fun.
Oh, I'd have really felt bad if I hadn't been there.
Oh yeah.
All of our kids showed up. They were all married. No, they weren't all married by then. Jane and Diane were.
So what were some of the best basketball games you guys have ever seen? Did any stick out?
Oh, that was one of the best because of 3 overtimes. You remember?
Yeah.
Oh,
I haven't sat down and watched the full game, but I've seen parts of it, and that was close.
oh, I've got the tape. I've got it on my computer.
Yeah, I got a tape that Johnny Rawhide just gave me the other day, so I'll have to sit and watch it.
Yeah. Oh, I've watched that over and over.
I'm sure it's not the same as being there, though.
Oh, it was exciting.
Oh,
God.
being there was just out of this world.
Well, Jane was sitting with us, and when the game ended and we won, she jumped up and threw her back out.
So then we had to go looking for her.
She couldn't hardly move. We got to get her out of that,
For everything.
the metro, and we went looking. We finally found a all-night walk-in clinic, and they gave her some pain medicine, I guess it was.
Something to relax her.
Muscle relaxers or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, Ralph had some good ones too, in later years.
Oh, we could listen to the ball games on that streaming from out of Glasgow down there, and that was great.
Yeah, that really makes it a lot easier to be a Raider fan, even though it's or a Maverick fan.
Yeah.
It was kind of hard to explain. We'd go someplace and I'd say, well, I got to go home and watch the ball game, or listen to a ball game. Who's playing? They were thinking I was the national. I said, our school kids. Your school kids? Yeah, you betcha.
A fan for life.
Yeah.
Well, now we've got the Nemont television set up. So
Yeah,
you
we
can
get
see
the, we
games.
don't, they don't broadcast the live games, the tournament games. I don't know I think there's something that they have to do to
Yeah.
get a permit to, that's
Yeah.
probably expensive, I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
Many
high
times.
school association has rights over
Yeah.
all that, so who knows? Maybe they want exclusive rights to someone else for that.
Yeah, but we
But you
do
can
watch
stream
some
it.
of the games, you know.
Yeah.
Anytime you turn it on, there's a ball game. Was it you were just watching Terry and Nashua?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a pretty good deal too.
Do you guys remember the games that they had in the old gym? Because that was kind of sunken down, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yes, I played in those.
Oh yeah.
They had they had girls basketball when I was in high school. Then they took it out, and then Diane, our oldest one, was born. She went all through school, and they didn't have it. Then Jane, 4 years later, they had basketball in Hinsdale again.
girls
Lee
basketball.
Lewis.
That's kind of strange that they had it and took it away.
Yeah. I don't know. Reem Locke was our coach.
I think it was because they had to build a new gym.
Well, I don't know.
That-
Wasn't it a state thing that took it away, or was it
I
just
don't
the
know,
school?
I don't think so. I think
Just
it's
the school decided they didn't want it.
On the school.
Well,
Hmm.
they had a gym that was down there was small.
I
And it wasn't
really don't
regulation,
know.
so they couldn't
Oh.
actually play regulation ball.
Hmm.
They finally got the new gym built, and, then they went back to it.
Yeah, I don't know. See,
Well, you should know, you were down there.
well, yeah, I was there from 57 to 87. Yeah, Lana was in Dwayne's class.
Hmm.
And
That's
Jane, who was she? No, Dana is, she's younger than that Diane. It's, Diane graduated in 66, Jane in 70, and Dwayne in 74.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember, how, you know, my own kid's age, I know that, so I can go by that.
Mhm.
'Cause like I say, Lana and Levon Melby and Karen Funk, they were all in Dwayne's class. Or, yeah,
Well, we have had
Karen Funk was in,
quite a unique life. We raised 3 kids and they all went through college and
6 grandkids and 10 grades. And there's 2 that aren't even married yet, it was grand, so.
Well, that must be pretty nice to have all of them. They come and see you quite often?
Well, we saw them at Christmas this year. We usually see them at least once a year. But,
they used to come here for Christmas, but the house got too small.
Family
So
got
we-
too big.
Yeah.
We go to Fort Benton now,
Hmm.
and they've got a big house, and so we all tell our stories there.
well, they were here for Bob's birthday last year.
Yeah,
I think there's pictures of it there. And they
Oh,
were,
yeah, I think I do.
when they turned 90. And then we saw them all at Christmas time. But the 2 kids that are still, there's 2 that's still in college, Dwayne's 2. One's in Butte and one's in Billings.
Oh, okay.
So we have to wait for them to graduate. Find somebody. Don't hurry, you don't have to get married right away and have kids.
But aren't more grandkids always better?
when I was in the military, I was in the Seabees, and they sent me to the Philippine Islands. And I got in on a survey crew. And the guy that was the head of our survey crew was from Miles City, and he graduated from Butte.
Hmm.
And he kept bragging about it and all that stuff, you know. In fact, he bought a bunch of these just regular men's t-shirts, and I helped him, and we printed Montana Tech on them. And then he gave them to the natives.
Well, that's a very dedicated alumni.
Yeah.
That might be more dedicated than coming home for basketball games.
A little bit.
I'm not sure. Could they even read it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they could speak English.
Made them learn it, I suppose, before they could wear it.
I said, his name is Anderson. And I said, Andy, I said, they're not gonna, that's not gonna last very long. Oh, he said it'll be there 50 years from now, some of them will be wearing them. And then maybe they are.
Well, maybe you guys will have to take a trip to the Philippines and see if you can find
Yeah, I would
any.
like to. You know, we were building a road to haul the timber out of the mountains down to a sawmill. And one morning we got up and we had to ride on this truck to go to work, and Andy said to me, "Look at that road." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Look at it. It was just sparkled." He said, "You know what that is?" And I said, "No." He said, "That's gold." And it was. So what happened we built a sluice box, they called it, and just a frame out of wood, and then we built a ladder to put in it, and there was a creek that run down along this road, and we went down there and shoveled the gravel into that thing, and we found gold nuggets.
Oh, wow.
I said, wow, I'd like to go back over there and do some mining. I said, tell you that.
We found gold nuggets in Alaska too.
Well, yeah, that was a gold mine too.
Yeah, and then
We panned the gold. I said that guy had 2 gold mines. He had this gold mine, then the tourists come in and they panned the gold. When you found gold, you took it into his jewelry shop and he made a brooch for it.
Wonder which one was more profitable.
That was fun. I still have that from jewelry.
So we even panned gold. But if I did go back over to the Philippines, that's exactly what I'd want to do. I know right where to go and when to do it.
Well, we have a Filipino girl living here in town.
I thought maybe she come from close to where we were at, but she didn't.
She stays with Francine. Yeah. She's really, really friendly. And
Yeah,
fun to
she's
talk
really
to.
nice. I think she actually came over for the lutefisk dinner, and someone said she was really excited because she likes fish, and she brought over her own sauce. I wish I had seen it. It would have been really cool to see what it was.
Yeah.
Because if anyone could find something that makes lutefisk edible, I want to know.
Oh,
me
you
too.
can't talk me into lutefisk.
I
I tell
like
you,
the left
we
side.
sold it in the store up here, and I hated that season. I had to go out and get that lutefisk, put it on the scale, and of course, then we had to clean everything up every time we sold it.
You couldn't have it touch anything else.
No.
They
And
were
then,
sure
Of
gobbling
course,
it
that
down.
fish come in and there were barrels about that big round, and we had to open them barrels and we had to put water in it and drain the water off, because that stuff is cured in lye. Oh, I hated that.
I've seen some pictures of the outside of the store, but how was the inside of the store set up?
The south side of the store was all dry goods,
Okay.
and the north side was all groceries.
Shoes, it had a whole,
Huh?
you had a section of shoes on the dry
Well,
goods side.
we had shoes in the back. We had a butcher shop too. And I discussed this with Blanche Schuler. When Dad, that barber shop business was pretty meek, I tell you. We just didn't have any extra money at all for anything. And then he found out that Butteries owned this store, and they decided they were going to close Harlem and Hinsdale and I don't know, some of the stores anyway. And he found out about it, so he went to the bank and found out how much money he could borrow. And so in 1940, when they closed up, he bought that store. And so we were in the store business. And of course, I graduated from high school in 1944, and in May, and in August I got my draft notice, so I wasn't here after that. But anyway, when I got back out of the service, well, he wanted me to go in with him and be a partner with him in the store. Well, I was agreeable to that, but her dad come to, she had her mother and dad come over for dinner one Sunday, and after dinner, her dad went and sat on the davenport, and I went, we were talking, and he was giving me a hard luck story about that place out there. He was trying to sell it. He had to sell it because he couldn't operate it anymore. And he said, I have to sell it. And I don't know what even possessed me. I wasn't even thinking about it. I said, well, also, maybe I should buy your ranch. Damn, his head come round. I had a ranch.
He jumped on that, huh?
Oh yeah, he was waiting for that. I think he set me up for that. I really do. But anyway, I went out there, I didn't know a whole lot about ranching, but boy, oh boy, I loved it.
Still had the store too, so the two girls had to work in the store.
Oh, yeah.
Dwayne would go out helping
He come out to help me in the ranch.
he didn't want to take track. I said, okay, then you get on the bus and you just get yourself right out to the farm. Whoa, that didn't sound too good.
Maybe track sounded a little bit better after that.
Yeah, and he did really well in track, but that's all I had to say was, okay,
Yes.
Well, that was,
out you go.
that was a good deal, I tell you.
Yeah. With the store, did that west wall, did that open up with those big kind of windows, or I see there's all that wood right there. I
No,
had seen some pictures and it looked different. But maybe it was just a picture.
No, there was just open windows.
that was just, we used that as a show window.
Hmm, okay.
We
Maybe that's what it
displayed-
was.
Displayed, clothing in it.
As you came in the front door, then it was vegetables and
Hmm.
fresh vegetables and things.
And, yeah, we had vegetable case and then all canned stuff and all.
And then further
But I was kinda
east to it.
glad that I did go out there because I don't know, a young person like that, and them walls were kinda coming in on me. And so, I was my own boss out there, that was one of the good things too. Oh, I knew a little bit about farming and ranching because when I was in high school, my dad didn't have any money to give me to go girling and stuff, so I got a job in the summertime and I worked for these ranchers out here, Martin Swanson and several of them. Anyway, I knew a little bit about it, but it was kind of funny. Up Christmas, Dwayne come over and we got to talking, and I said, we got to talking about things that happened out there on the ranch. Things really did, things that happened were kind of funny. I said, I told him, I said, do you remember that bull that we bought? I said, the big old black bull, and that old sucker wouldn't stay in any place I put him. Hell, a fence, he just put one foot through, put the other foot through, and he'd get himself in the middle of that fence, and he'd stand there scratchy back on the wire, you know. And I couldn't drive him anywhere. He didn't want to go, he just wouldn't go. Well, one day, he got down in the brush along the river, and I got the horse out, and I went down there and I started driving him along the river, and the cows had a path. I guess it was that far from the edge. Anyway, I was driving him, and all of a sudden, I don't know whether a willow popped the horse, and he made a jump up alongside him, and he pushed that bull over the edge. And he went down that bank, must have been 35, 40 feet, you know.
Oh, geez.
And I thought, I didn't want to look because I knew he had a broken leg. But I finally walked over and looked down there, and that bull was looking up at me.
What was that for?
What the hell did you do that for? Anyway, we got out of there, and that bull never went through a fence again, and I could go up and I could drive him any place. He must have thought, "Whoa, that guy gets mad." We had everybody in stitches. Oh, God.
That's a great story.
Oh, there was just numerous things like that that happened. Of course, I had to feel my way through it. The way that Oswald and Emil farmed out there was the old way. They'd done everything by hand.
Mhm.
I remember him showing me one of his pride things that he had got. He had just bought 100 of these seamless sacks, and they held 2 bushel of wheat, which is 120 pounds, you know. And I said, what do you do with that? Well, he said, I cleaned that wheat and I put it in them sacks. And I said, well, then what do you do with it? Well, he said, we put it up there in the attic.
Yeah, in that red barn.
Oh.
Yeah. I said, how do you do that? Well, put it on your shoulder and climb up there. I said, hell, I can't even lift that much, let alone climb up a ladder. So I had to do that different. And just everything I done out there had to be done.
So is that then seed wheat for the next
Yeah.
year?
Yeah, they had a cleaner and they cleaned their own wheat. And, oh, Lord.
Yeah, those augers and bins are pretty handy anymore.
Oh, yeah. Lord
I
almighty.
can't imagine bucking wheat back in the day.
Oh, yeah, you put it in the truck, you hauled it to the granary and shoveled it in that hole that was just about like that, you know.
Mhm.
I went to work for that guy up there north by Henry Hendrickson's, oh, shoot, what was his name? Anyway, he took me out there and the first thing he done, he showed me, we got in his Model T truck. And we went, he took me to the combine. He said, well, we'll put the wheat in the truck and then he drove me back to the house where the granary was, and there was a little hill there. And he said, now, you'll have to turn around and back up that hill. I said to myself, I was a young kid, I said, he must be joshing me. But he wasn't, you know, Model Ts didn't have any fuel pump.
Oh, right.
And when you got at a certain angle, it didn't feed gas to the motor anymore, so it quit. I tried every time I went, I'd get just about to the top of that thing and quit, and I'd have to turn it around and start it. And then he was pulling that combine with a Caterpillar.
Hmm.
He had been on the county commissioner down here, Glasgow, and they must have had a program, Cat must have had a program of trade. So he bought one of them Caterpillars and he had it on the front of that combine, and I thought to myself, that really don't make any sense. What in the hell's he got a Caterpillar on the front of a combine for? But I found out that combine had no motor on it. It was an old Hoyt combine, and it had a bull gear in the middle of it, and with chains run to everything, and that bull gear had cleats on it, and when you
Oh, wow.
pulled the combine, well, it turned that big old wheel, and it run everything else on the combine.
Huh. I wonder how that cat probably wasn't very good on the wheat as it was driving through
No.
it.
No,
That's
But
pretty
that-
cool if they designed it that it worked.
yeah, it had to have a lot of power to pull that thing,
Yeah, the 40-horse team or one cat.
you know.
The cat was probably a little simpler.
Yeah, well, and I said I learned a lot out there.
And you don't see equipment like that anymore.
No,
Well, heck, anymore the equipment's so complicated you almost can't work on it on your own. You got all the
Oh.
electrical equipment, and I've heard.
my grandson they have a big ranch down or farm down at Ekalaka.
Mm.
And we went down there at harvest time a couple of years ago, and he asked me if I wanted to ride in the combine with him. And I said, yeah, I sure would like to. Well, hell, I got in there, and the thing's air conditioned. There's no steering wheel on it.
No.
Just push the buttons, you know, and it goes on its own, you know. Well, the cutter bar is so long that you have to have wheels on the edge. I said, Jesus, Jason, you sure got it tough. What do you mean, Grandpa? I said, I had a steering wheel and I had to work all the levers to.
No air conditioning, no radio, nothing.
No, no. I said, you got it, old Friday.
And it's sure changing and changing fast. I think they're coming out with some now. I don't know if they're selling them, but they have some that there isn't even a cab. You just let it go. You don't even have to be in it.
Oh, really?
Self-propelled, huh?
Mhm.
Well, that's like cars now. They're talking about self-propelled cars. I think that's
That's
idiotic.
scary.
Yeah. But I see it really happening with farm equipment probably
Yeah.
pretty soon because they're basically doing it on their own.
Yeah,
I mean, that really, labor's the hardest thing anymore. Not necessarily because it's too expensive, but you can't get anyone to do it.
yeah, I can see that.
Well,
And in
that's,
fact, when we went to Yuma every year, that's the first thing Charlotte and I went down. We went down to this center that, and they could set up a tour for you. And then we'd go on a tour of because there's 300,000 acres of vegetables down there
Wow.
around Yuma. And it's just so interesting to me because I irrigated and I'd done all the things they did, but absolutely different. Their tractors are all operated by satellite, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All their land is mapped and
lettuce is their big thing, but
well, yeah, they used to be the lettuce capital of the world, iceberg lettuce, but that has changed because there's 25 different species of lettuce. The first thing you did when you got on the bus about 8 o'clock in the morning, they would take you to what they called the garden, and they would parcel off about 10 acres of land and plant vegetables in it. And they'd done this ahead of time so that the vegetables would be ready to pick when we get there. Well, gee whiz, we picked the vegetable. We got off the bus, and the first thing we did, we had to go to a water stand where you wash your hands, and it was water that was had a disinfectant in it. And then they gave us gloves, and they told us that now this container here, when you go pick 2 or whatever the vegetable that they would tell you, like she was supposed to pick cauliflower. Well,
yeah.
she picked 2 cauliflower and put it in this bag, and then you could pick another one for yourself. So they took this vegetable and they put it in these containers, and the colleges was the thing that was supporting this thing. And they took them vegetables out to college and they cooked them, and that's where we ended up for dinner.
Oh,
We ate the vegetables for dinner that we picked.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the people that fixed them were people that were learning to be chefs, and so it was really kind of neat.
Oh, they done a good job. They made
Yeah.
salads and
And
cooked
different
them.
varieties, but there was all kinds of tours. I mean, that was one.
Well, we never missed. We always went on the tour.
Yeah, that's something that I'd really enjoy. I like food.
Oh,
Yeah,
and you know, even the people that were narrating the thing were really interesting because these people all lived on the land. They never owned it. Nobody owns the land there. It's all reservation.
Oh, really?
It belongs to the Indians. The Indians are smart enough, they won't really do that work. So they lease that land out, and they build casinos, and then they got a job for the year-round air-conditioned job. They don't have to do the work out in the field.
but the Mexicans come up and do the work.
Yeah, the Mexicans come across the border and do the harvesting. Well, anyway, I just marveled at what they done down there, you know. What had happened, that Colorado River is the river that goes through the Grand Canyon. And of course, the snow melts in the spring, and it runs down there and it washes this dirt into the Colorado, and it takes it downstream, and Yuma is in a sort of a basin, and it would flood that basin and drop that silt there, and yahoo, you got the best soil in the world, you got all kinds of sunshine.
You got the water and everything.
water.
Yeah,
It's a great place to grow.
Yeah.
I wish we had that.
Yeah. Oh,
Of course,
well,
the
it's on
silt up
top of
here.
sand, so,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we're on top of clay. It doesn't work so well.
no.
yeah.
Of course, when it does flood, you get all those cottonwoods. I know there's a lot of people around here that are looking at all the cottonwoods and are like, oh, they're all kind of the same age. You don't see much young ones. Then we got that one good flood a few years ago, and we sure felt bad because they were all out in the alfalfa fields, and we ended up making cottonwood hay.
Yeah.
But we felt so bad because it's like, oh, we like those big trees,
Yeah.
but you can't grow there.
Not in the middle of your field,
No.
huh?
Well, we got them two brothers come on the tour with it. The bus that we get on is just like that bus club is on the 52 passenger bus. Well, they narrated the thing and they told the story about, and back in 1940 sometime, them and their folks were living in, let's see, Arizona, no,
I don't know.
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, it was down south.
And they were kind of drying out, so they decided that they had to quit. And so they were going to move to California. Well, they got into whatever kind of a jitney they had, and they got as far as Yuma, and the motor blew up on them. So they had to quit. And they stopped, and the grandfather went to work in the mines, and they said he never came back out because there was a it caved in and he was left up there. Well,
Oh.
the dad he didn't have any money, so he had to go to work in the vegetable fields. So they were still homesteading down there at that time, and so they took up a homestead, 400 acres,
Oh, wow.
and now they control 5,000 acres down there
Jeez.
of vegetables. They just control it. They don't operate. You can't.
Mhm.
Two guys couldn't operate that much. They have to have different sections and
That's a lot of vegetables.
yeah. Well, if you want to go to Yuma, we got a unit down there. We'll tell you.
Well, I don't think I can stand the heat. I'm a little too big for that.
Oh yeah, the summertime gets a little bit hot.
Yeah,
We've never been down there.
winters might be nice, but I don't think I'd even last the spring.
Oh, winters are just about like up here.
Is it? It does
Yeah.
get pretty chilly, huh?
Oh, we usually get one freeze down there in the winter.
That's
I
pretty
always,
nice.
I had a area there that I put a fence in, and I left about that much space between the fence and the cement, and I planted tomatoes in that.
Oh,
Oh God, them tomatoes in the sunshine, they just grew like,
I can imagine.
oh man.
Did you guys ever do much gardening up here?
Oh yeah, I got a
Yeah.
little garden out here.
What grows best? Because I have a heck of a time getting anything to grow.
Well, it's sure not like down south, I'll tell you that.
Well,
But
even
I
in the country.
I do pretty good with tomatoes here, but cucumbers are not too bad. But we can't get like carrots and stuff that's in the ground. That just don't grow good. That soil is, it sets up so dang high that,
Yeah.
Well, in this.
you know, there's so
soil is
much difference. We owned that place down there, and she had a wash machine in the house. Well, they come along one time and said, you know, our sewer system isn't set up for all these wash machines. So what you're gonna have to do, if you're gonna keep that wash machine, you gotta put up a leach field. And I thought, leach field, God, what is there, about that much space between our units? So and I said, well, sure, whatever. I guess they had it figured out. And so, well, you gotta pay for it, but we'll get somebody to do it for you. I said, all right. I thought, what are they gonna do? Well, what did they do? They went out on the north side of our house, and they dug a trench down about that wide and about that deep. And they put some perforated pipe in the bottom of it and hooked it up to the wash machine drain. I thought, well, this is gonna be interesting. And they covered it back up, and I told Charlotte, I said, now, don't wash 2 loads of clothes. I said, wash 1 load and we'll check this out. She washed a load of clothes, no water showed up. She washed 2 loads, she washed 3 loads, no water shows up. That sand, it just goes down. Well, you couldn't do that here.
No.
No, that's right, down there, that soil is so porous, that they mark out a 40-acre field. And on the, on the north side, they put perforated pipe down.
Mhm.
And on the northeast corner of that field, they put a well down. And they irrigate that field. That water all goes down, and it goes down and gets in that perforated pipe. And then then it runs into this well, and they put a pump on that well. And that's the only pumping.
So it just self-irrigates, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's a
They
pretty
use the
good
water
idea.
over and over.
I'm sure there's not enough water down there to really just
Yeah.
pump it, so it's good to
There's
recycle
all
it.
kinds of water in that.
Yeah, there.
in,
Take it out of the
Colorado
river.
I was working at school, but then after, maybe it kept track for about 10 years, and after that it kind of,
Well, I don't know who's in elementary. I've only been out of school for 5 years. It's pretty sad.
that's why I have to buy an annual.
Well, you got that one that my sister and mom put together, and that's such a cool resource. I think it's the one right there, actually.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that has everyone in it.
Yes, I like that one,
I kind of wish we had a hardcover like the annuals, but
yeah.
they didn't have enough time to get that done.
The thing that, let's see, this is one that has the classes in it.
Mhm.
Okay, I was in the class of 47, and there wasn't any picture, but I took a picture out of my annual and put in here.
Oh. Yeah, they tried to find all they could. I think they were missing some of the annuals at the school. So, but hopefully they'll redo that. I know that they're thinking about trying to redo it again.
If
I
they
think-
do, let me know.
I think next year, 2018, I think would be the 100th graduating class, I
Yeah.
think. And so Mom might make some of those up for Trey's class to do as a fundraiser, and hopefully they'll do that as a hardcover. That'd be nice.
Yeah, because, and then the picture I found would fit right in here. So I stuck it in this
Oh, I
one.
go through that and look at the names and
Oh,
people.
I use it a lot. Something happens and something happens to somebody and say, what, how old are they, what did they do?
I know it takes away all of the arguments anymore. That's the only bad thing is you don't have those heated debates like, well, no, they did this and they were on this team. It's like,
Yeah.
it's right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, our class, it just listed our class.
Oh,
So I
yeah, you got a
found it.
picture.
I took it off of the annual,
I'll have to make sure that they redo it to make sure that they
Yeah.
get that in there.
the 47 annual.
They must not have any at the school, but I'm sure that people around town and I think the museum would have some, so.
I wonder what they did with those. When I left them, they were all there.
Were they? Maybe they just didn't find them. They've moved the library around a few times.
Yes, and different ones, some care about it and some don't.
Yeah. So did you both go to elementary in town then, or when you guys
oh
were?
yeah, I started school and
I went the same one all year, yeah.
I wasn't sure if.
I remember my first day of school. My dad had that barber shop up there, I was telling you, you know, and just the sidewalk ended right on the other side of his, and there was a drive across.
Hmm.
And Mother got me ready to go to school, and she took me up to the barber shop and she said to Dad, now you see that he gets down to school a certain time, you know. Well, I was up there and come time to go to school, and he was busy, so I decided to go on my own. I had to walk across this drive across, and there was snow and ruts and stuff, and I fell down on my knees and got my pants wet. And I don't know, it was Bob Ader, I think it was, come along and helped me get across, and then he kinda led me down this sidewalk and got me going into the schoolyard there. And I went in. I never forget that, I was so embarrassed. Oh,
So then was elementary school, was that all on the first floor? Because that's when there was a 2-story building, wasn't there?
yeah, it was all on the, at least the classes, classes I went to were on the first floor.
On the school?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a picture with both schools.
Oh. That's kinda nice having them both side by side.
Yeah, they had that made, they gave me that when I quit working.
yeah.
This, I found, I've got the, I just made a copy of it, a graduation invitation for 18,
Oh, wow.
19.
That's,
I mentioned that when Michaela was here, we were selling the magazines or something, and I told her that I've got the, I just took it apart and did copies of it, but I've got the invitation too, if those kids would like to do something with
yeah,
it.
I'll definitely have to let them know. That is really cool. It's amazing that we have people that have been so good about keeping that stuff. I mean, a lot of times you would think just throw it out or whatever, but
Oh, I don't throw things out.
no. You gotta hold on to the good stuff.
Jane drove us down to Yuma to pick up our clothes and stuff, you know,
Mhm.
and she said, "How many years did you say you've been here?" Well, everything that we brought home went into the van, but we took a load to the two places. What? Anyway, well, we still left a lot of stuff down there, but she pigeonholes everything. I said, I feel sorry for them kids when they have to come and clean this house out. Man alive.
Yeah, this is a
Oh,
yearbook. I don't know if you had,
I think I don't know if it's this exact one, but I think there's one in at the school that they got.
well, I hope so, because I left a lot of that stuff there.
Yeah, I know they have one of them up in the moving picture
did
things
leave
they
it
do.
there? Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't looked lately.
Basketball.
That one was kinda.
Yeah, I know it's one like this. I don't know if it was the same year or not.
I think that's a 21, isn't
Yeah. Valley County Bank of Hinsdale, Warburg
Yeah.
Drug. And it's weird now that you look back at some of these and the advertisements are some of the interesting things. I'm used to trying to ignore all the advertisements, but I mean, like, here's the Hinsdale Barber Shop,
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
the Mutual Service, Rash Lumber Company. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that one is in kind of bad shape, but
Well, it's a lot better than most of them, I'm sure, because I'm sure most of them are done and gone.
well, see, we put them in the office
Mm-hmm.
when I was there, and we didn't let them get out.
There's probably a lot of stuff in that office that I've never seen.
Well, I don't know. Depends on what superintendent we had.
Yeah, and I know we've had some good ones, but it only takes one bad one in between.
You better believe it.
So did you have any troublemakers when you were in school?
Oh, yes. There was always some of them. And to have your own kids in school, you know, while you're working there, that's not too good, because I worked in the office and you kind of didn't want to see your kids coming down there.
Well, hopefully you being there was a little bit more incentive to stay out.
I thought, well, when Dwayne graduates, I can quit. And after he left, it was kind of nice. I didn't have any kids to think about what kind of trouble they might get into. But oh yeah, and there was always those that had to irritate everybody, like Elliot Stroman.
Boy, I can tell stories about him.
Oh, he was a character.
We had a square dance club here, and I had some square dance records, and I don't know what, they borrowed them for some reason or other, and when I got them back, this one record had a chunk out of it. I said, what the hell happened to this record? Oh, Elliot was showing off and he bit a chunk out of the
You wouldn't think, Elliot would do that. I mean, his mother, she'd come down there and she'd say, oh, don't tell me, what did he do now? I can just hear, parent-teacher meeting. Oh yeah, he was one of the fun ones, and then there were some that weren't fun. Superintendents would get a little upset.
Well, she was in the school, but I had something to do with every organization in this town except I never wanted to run for school board. And I didn't. I was commander of the American Legion. I was fire chief. I was president of the Chamber of Commerce when we had a Chamber of Commerce.
I didn't know we had one of those. That's
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
cool. I always thought since we were never incorporated that we wouldn't have one, but
Well, that was one of the things that we wanted to do, incorporate the town. Some of the people decided we should do that. Well, we never got it done. It just, there were too many hurdles. And I now think that it was a real good thing that we didn't. Because where would we get the money to? We'd have to tax the people in town. And Seiko's up against that right now. You know, they had all that money from the gas company, and so they did incorporate, and they worked good for them for quite a while. But now, I guess the gas company has moved out, and they're struggling.
wasn't there at one point an actual vote to incorporate? I've heard someone.
Here,
Yeah.
we might have brought it to a vote.
I think somebody voted on it, but it failed, and
Yeah.
someone was telling me some story about afterwards someone went and paid for drinks at the bar. Someone was very against it.
Oh yeah, there were some of them.
Well, there was the county commissioner that was against it.
Well, yeah, that was the big thing, all right. If he would have been for it, we probably would have got it done. But,
Instead of that, they named a bridge after him.
Which bridge is that?
Morris Arnold.
Oh. Speaking of bridges, do you remember the old red bridge that was down through the Chester place, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
that was the place to go for a picnic.
Was it?
Yeah. They had.
Well, I owned that land down there that's,
The Chester place?
well, it's the land that was along the river
Okay.
down there,
Chris
after you go down the hill.
Okay, that chunk. Alright.
I raised some awful good alfalfa down there. Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best chunks of alfalfa I've seen in the county. I mean,
That's good land down there.
until it floods, and then you have to start all over.
Yeah,
That flood sure washed a lot of that out.
yeah.
Yeah, we've been here a long time.
Well, 91 years is,
Well, the Masonic Lodge too,
I was master of the lodge, and
when you were, in 1952, when Jane was born, you were,
I was commander of the American Legion.
Commander of American Legion.
'Cause I started that lot up there where
Oh.
they have the barbecue.
Oh, where the park?
Yeah,
Yeah, when I was elected commander, some of the older guys, old Stubbs Rudder and a couple of them guys come to me and said, all right, now you're commander, that's your property there, get to work on it. So I did. Dad had bought a little international tractor. It was the smallest you could buy. But it had a plow, a disc plow behind it. And so I went up there and I plowed that up. And then I don't know, I borrowed something from Rosendahl that I drove around on there and smoothed it all out, you know, and then planted grass in there.
well, Hal Ophis helped too with it. But he was the one that helped in that one year.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I was probably good. Yeah, and there was women's club, but there was, you know, band boosters, we always used to have band boosters. And athletic and all that, but I don't think they do anymore.
Well, they still have a band boosters that has the one meal during one of the games, and they put on a meal and they raise funds for the band for music and all that. And
Do they have meetings anymore?
I don't know if they really have meetings.
Yeah, well, that was one thing we used to do.
I know they're trying to get a basketball sports boosters going now because they have the co-op. I know they've had a few meetings for that, trying to get that, because that's a new thing, having all three of these communities together. Because from what I've heard back, because of basketball, we weren't always on such good terms with some of these other communities.
Well, somebody said it wasn't the kids.
Mm.
It was the adults that was having the problem.
Yeah, and I've heard that before too. Because you don't ever seem to really have problems with the kids. They seem to always be buddy no matter who they are or where they're from.
They date each other and go to
Somebody got the
together.
idea of building a school up on the divide.
Yeah, I've known people have talked about that before, but I think they kind of figured out that if you do that, you're going to lose your ends going to Glasgow and Malta anyway, so you're not going to gain a whole lot.
We had a meeting down here. Oh my God, that really got hot. I wasn't involved in that. I was there. I just listened. I never opened my mouth. But holy smokes. Well, it probably was a good idea to keep the schools.
Yeah.
Because if you got your school here, you got some businesses.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't got a school here,
Was Seiko always kind of a little bit smaller, or were they a little bit kind of bigger? Was it always about the
They
same?
were bigger for a while, but
well, see, for years, we had the grocery store here, and Seiko didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the other way around.
Yeah.
but that is, I did see that listed for sale again
That store?
at Seiko.
But
Yeah.
we have a bank.
Yeah,
Take that.
That's what brings them down here.
Yeah. It sure is nice having that butcher shop over there, though,
Yeah.
in Seiko. And he does such a good job.
does he?
Yeah. He makes really good pork sausage
Oh.
he seasons it for breakfast. That's about the best thing ever.
Oh, I've never, of course, we used to do that too,
Mm-hmm.
cut up meat. In fact, what happened, we'd cut up meat for people, and one time Harvey Jones brought in a beef, and we cut it up and wrapped it and put it in boxes and got it ready to go. And Harvey stopped up there at the store with his truck. And he said, I'm going home, and he says, that beef is ready, I should take it. I said, no, Harvey, I said, we can't put that in the back of that truck. Oh yes, he said, put it in there. Well, we finally did. Oh God, he no more than got home, and the phone rang, and it was Leora. And she wasn't happy, I mean tell you, and if you knew Leora, when she got unhappy, she used words that you shouldn't use anywhere. Oh gee. Well, what had happened, that meat sat in the back there and that bunched up and down that truck, all the wrapping come off.
Oh.
And she had to rewrap it. I don't blame her for being upset. I tried to talk Harvey out of it, but he wouldn't do it. Well, after that, we made some space down in the basement where we had 3, maybe we had 4 deep freezes down there.
Oh.
People would buy a deep freeze and put it down there, and we'd cut the beef up and just put it in the deep freeze for them.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that worked good.
Yeah, I've been in that basement a couple times. It's about the best use I've ever seen is some of the classes down here will put on a haunted house in that basement.
Oh, did they?
And that gets people about every time. Luke's class did that, and he said that was the funnest thing. Because just walking down there, you don't have to do anything, and it's scary. But I was actually going to ask you, there's that northwest corner down there, there's a little room fenced off with chicken wire. Was that there when you guys were there?
Well, it was chicken, well, it's screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that was our flower room.
Oh, okay. So was that to keep the mice out then?
Yeah.
Okay, I've always wondered. I was like, did someone have chickens
still
down here or
there.
what?
Well, we did that. I didn't know it was still down there. I haven't been in that basement for,
There used to be an elevator down
well, we had it.
Oh, really?
There's an elevator in the back, yeah.
Oh, really? I've never seen
to
that.
take stuff back in
It's a hand operated.
It takes me forever to find the stairs down there. They're hidden on me. Then some of that floor is starting to give way on the south end, which is sad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and I've never been upstairs. I'm assuming the upstairs is nicer because the downstairs is kind of starting to fall apart a bit.
Oh,
Yeah, well, upstairs, you mean in the lodge hall?
Yeah, I've never been up there. I'm assuming they got it fixed up.
well, the one thing that was most bad about that, the heat,
Mm.
that old coal furnace was converted into a gas furnace, which heated the place, but it should have had a different heating system.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, nobody had enough money to do it.
It was a big building with a lot of space.
Yeah,
That's a lot to heat.
Oh, there's a floor furnace, is that what you used?
well, it was a floor furnace,
Yeah.
right in the middle there, that big old furnace.
Do you guys remember when they had the depot out across the highway there?
Yeah,
I heard from some people that almost a bigger landmark than the depot was the cottonwood tree next to it. I've heard that a lot of people really had a big
Yeah.
connection with
oh,
that.
there was a big
It
old
was
cottonwood.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I was fire chief when that burned up. And it got going so bad before we could get there that we had this new fire truck. And I remember that when they brought that fire truck in here, they said, now, you hook that up to a hydrant. Be careful when you get that water going out of there, don't shut it off fast. Just a little bit at a time, because you're gonna blow somebody's toilet right out of it. You know, that water was flowing so fast, you're sucking it out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And if you'd shut it off, well, there'd be a backlash, you know.
Oh, that wouldn't be good.
And that's the first place I think that I remember running that thing, was right up there. We couldn't put it out, it got going too tough before.
And that was an intentional fire, wasn't it? Didn't someone set
Well,
it on fire?
they did, they did figure out that it was, I guess.
I heard someone was trying to steal something that was in the mail or something.
Well, yeah, what happened, I think the bank ordered in some money. And they tried to pin that on Bud Hillman, but he was innocent, absolutely innocent.
Hmm.
But what did it turn out to be? The depot operator, wasn't it?
That's what I thought, wasn't it Stuff?
Yeah, I think his name was Stuff.
Why were they trying to pin it on Hillman? Was he one of the people that knew it was coming
Well,
in?
he knew that the money was
He was the
coming.
banker.
I guess
yeah.
that was the theory.
They were looking at who knew
Yeah.
it was coming in, huh?
But they run him through the mail, I'll tell you. But they couldn't prove it, so they dropped it. But then
Yeah.
they finally kept on with it and figured out that guy that was a depot operator up there knew it and found out about it and took the money and,
Well, that probably makes the most sense. Is the
Yeah.
person, if it was burned at the depot, he probably,
Yeah.
that makes the most
I
sense.
think, I can't remember what his first name was. There was the Irvin Stuff, but it
no, it
wasn't.
wasn't him.
And then there was the one that was played on the orchestra.
You had mentioned the orchestra. Do you guys remember the bandstand at all?
Well,
Oh,
that's where
yes.
that bandstand sat in that,
Mhm.
that area where I planted the grass.
Yeah, I know from Edry's notes, she said that was the last place that it was, and I think,
Yeah,
as far as, the only thing I've heard is I think what happened to it is the FFA went and tore it apart and built a fence. Is that?
well, I think it got so rickety that they was scared somebody would get hurt in there, so they just tore it down.
Kids used to play in there.
Oh, yeah, they used to have music in the evening
Hmm.
up there. Of course, we had quite a few musicians around here. Harmon Tuttle and Red Tuttle and
Hearsters.
Hearsters, yeah.
And then Seiko always had the Merrymakers. There was Stuff there and Dorothy Conlon and we had good dance music.
There must have been quite a few good dances over at the Legion back then, huh?
Oh,
Boy.
boy.
Well, we had a gal that came in and taught square dancing too.
Yeah,
And then she ended up with, we did waltzes and everything. She was really good.
And we don't have very many big dances
Had
anymore.
the gym full of people.
I was just thinking about that the other day. I touched Francine's foot underneath the table there, seniors, and she said, "What are you trying to do, kick my shins?" And that was one of the big things. When Dad was barbering, of course, at that time, they heated the water and put a hot towel on the guy's face, you know, to soften the whiskers, and Helmer Lund come in, and he apparently had been in there and got a shave, and the water wasn't real hot. And he said, I remember him saying, "Well, if this goddamn place had any hot water, I'd get a shave." Dad said, "Sit down, Helmer, I got hot water." Well, what had happened, Dad was heating this water on, they had a little kerosene stove about that big around, with they had a bucket on. Well, I suppose the water got about lukewarm. Anyway, Dad was telling Henry Westrom was Fred Westrom's half brother, and he was in the hardware store with him, and he worked back in the shop. And he come in there, and Dad was telling him what he needed hot water. And Henry said, "You know," he said, "I've been thinking that I could build a hot water heater." Dad said, "Boy, if you could, I sure would like one." He says, "I need it for the bathtub that I got back there, and then for the barber's business too." And he did. He took some copper pipe, and he heated it, and he made it, curled it up like that. And then about that time we had gas for heat, so he got a gas burner, and he put that gas burner underneath that, and he got a little wood stove with a door in the front, and he mounted that coil in there, and then he hooked it up to the water line, and lit that gas burner. And boy, I'll tell you what, the water that come through there was hot. I remember sitting there in the barber shop, and boy, Dad had got this towel underneath that, and the steam was just rising up. He kept putting that under there, you know, and finally he slapped that on Helmer's face, and his feet went just like that. He never said a word though. And, oh God. Well, Dad had another barber in there by the name of Neil Kent. And Neil said, "I watched you, Homer." And he said, "You got that towel pretty damn hot." Dad said, "You know something?" He said, "I wouldn't have been a bit surprised if all the skin had come off of his face when I took it off." But, and that goes back to, I know Helmer thought, I'll get even with him. Well, these dances that they had at the hall down there, Dad come home, I remember, and he was having a bad time. They had a shin kicking contest down there, and old Helmer come along with his boot, you know, and he hit him about here, and he just took the skin all off his shin.
Ow!
Dad come home, and he was trying to doctor that up. He said, "Goddamn Helmer Lund." Well, Helmer got even with him right there.
You didn't go over to the doctors?
No, well, it was at night. Hell, it was,
Midnight.
yeah, that was after the dance.
Yeah, we used to have a doctor's office too.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I had my tonsils taken out.
And me.
But at that time, you'd walk up there and you'd get on this gurney and they'd put you to sleep, and then when you got woke up, you were home.
And he was able to do surgeries like that, huh?
Oh, yeah,
Well, someone had to, I guess.
yeah. And I didn't know till afterwards that Maxine, my cousin, told me, she said, "Oh, we knew you were having that, so we followed the car all the way home."
Oh, yeah, I had a tooth that had to be removed. Well, Doc said to Dad, "Bring him over, I'll pull the tooth for him." Well, I was just scared to death. And he had a little thing that they put in your mouth, it's supposed to hold your mouth open. He said that thing wouldn't hold my mouth open. I closed it anyway. I don't know if they ever got the tooth pulled, but, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a good doctor, and he delivered a lot of babies. And he, actually, Julius Walber, my uncle that had the drugstore, he was not a pharmacist, but Dr. Cockrell would give a prescription, and then he would come over and fill it. Julius had all the ingredients on his hand, and the doctor would come and fill it, and then they'd sell it, but it worked. They still have few little bottles in the basement that say Walber Drug on them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, talk about not throwing things away, we've got quite a few. Yeah, there's lots of things have happened, good and bad.
As long as there's more good than bad, right?
Well, it seems like it.
When I get together with Peggy Denham, it just gets to be a riot.
Yeah, she was up here for the reunion this year, wasn't she?
Well, I don't know, she used to come to see me before she left. Her and I could get that whole crew to just laughing like crazy.
The thing, because her dad had the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think her daughter and grandson were up here over the 4th, and they were talking with me, and I was I do all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I was sharing some stuff with them, and they were sharing some pictures of the bar and stuff, and that was really kind of cool that they were still coming up here.
Yeah.
It's a nice family.
Oh, Monty was a character, but she's got him beat.
Well, actually, it's her
Well,
son.
you know,
that-
I had that barber shop, and I spent most of my time up there. I shined shoes in there for 10 cents and there was an old sheep herder that worked for whites and black. They had sheep on Rock Creek. And so he'd spend probably 6 months out there, and then he had to go on a bender. He'd come into town, and he'd get about half drunk, and he'd go all buy all the change out of the bar, cash register, and then the drugstore, and then over to Westrom's. And then he'd go out in the street, and he'd throw that money in the air and let out a yell. Well, I picked up a silver dollar,
Oh, wow.
and I couldn't have picked up $1 million and made me any happier.
all the kids in town were there.
Oh yeah, everybody knew what the heck was his name? Shorty Kiefer.
Shorty Keeper, yeah.
And, oh yes, and I got telling Peggy, and I got talking about it. She said, oh yeah, he'd come in and he had false teeth. And Dad had a little cubby hole there that he let him put his false teeth in. So I had some girl come up there with me, and I showed her his false teeth, and she put them in her mouth.
Peggy, yeah.
She wasn't very shy, huh?
Well, Monty, we were good friends. We done a lot of things together. He worked in Malta in the bars. He was a bartender. Well, I never went up there, but what he didn't make sure that he caught me on the street, and he always had a story to tell me. And that guy, we used to get robbed up here quite often.
Oh, really?
And so I decided myself that I was going to stop that. And so I put a intercom system in the store, and I ran a wire from the store to my house. And then when they broke in, I grabbed my shotgun and I went up there and this one guy, he parked he had stolen this car and he parked it in front of the store heading north. And he left it sitting out in front, running. And I got on the other side of the bank, and when he come out of the store with his stuff, well, he I let him, I hollered halt, and he didn't stop, but he went and got in back of this car, and opened up the hood, and put it in the trunk. But I wouldn't let him get around to get in the car to drive off. And it happened to be that there was a freight train going through town, and he seen it, and he ran up there, kept the car between me and him, and he ran up there, on the train, got away. Well, there was another time that these guys broke into the store, and he parked on the north side of the store heading west. And I got in my car and I drove up, and I turned around and I come back, and I was heading north. And he seen me, so he started his car and he went across the main street up there. And when he went across, I took 2 shots at him, broadside. Well, Monty was tending bar at the Rainbow Room. And he heard this, so he come tearing out there to see what was going on. And while we were talking, this guy went up west, and he turned around and come back because he'd left his friends in the store. and so I said, I'm going to chase him down. Monty said, I'll go with you. I said, okay, you run the shotgun. And so my car had a lot more to it than his, and so I run up behind him, and I'd hit him in the bumper, and I'd twist the wheel when I do that, and he'd go back and forth. Well, I couldn't get him off the highway until we got up on top of the hill out there, and I finally run him in the ditch. Well, I stopped the car, and I opened the door and I got out, but I didn't know if he had a gun or not, so I didn't want to get out in the open. Well, Monty moved over in the driver's seat, and he drove the damn car off. I said, Monty, you darn fool. I said, he could have shot me. Oh, he said, I never thought about that. Well, about that time, the sheriff for Glasgow came along. And so he picked the guy up and took him. And I give Monty a bad time about that.
He was too much in the moment. He was having fun, evidently.
Yeah, he was just having fun. He wasn't serious about it.
What did he say?
He said, I don't know what you want. I said, take a shot at him, Monty, maybe he'll stop. Why, hell, I wouldn't shoot at a guy, he just was hungry. He was going in there to get some bloated to eat, you know. I said, yeah, all right.
He robbed me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, one thing that really made me feel bad, Monty, you always come down here for Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the program up there at the hall. Well, Charlotte and I drove up there, and as we drove up, Monty walked out that back door. And I got out and I said, for God's sake, Denham, are you still alive? Hell yes, I'm alive! And he got in the car and went home and died.
Oh.
I felt bad about that.
Well, he had to show you one last time.
Yeah, he was always full of jokes.
I felt bad about that.
He probably didn't remember it.
No, he probably didn't. But he had a story. I'm telling you, no matter what it was, he had a good story for it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's too bad about Steve.
Yeah. Sounds like he'll probably make it out of it. Just gonna be a rough journey.
Yeah. When he retired and came out here, and what it was like. Of course, his dad was from Missoula to begin with, Stretch. And he liked Montana. He wanted to come back. And
Oh, I really enjoyed talking to him.
yeah.
He wanted to know one time, he said, you know, when the train goes through here and whistles, how far north can you hear it? And Louis Weil happened to be there, and he said, you know, on a real cold morning, I could hear that up there at the Canadian border.
Yeah, that's right. That was used to be the mixed dairy out there. Yeah.
Well, Frederick Gillette used to own that place. And I can remember as a kid, I went out there he had a son by the name of Noah that was my age, and I went out there with him. Well, it rained while we were out there, and we were standing in the garage. And like a dummy, I went over and leaned against the garage door, and the garage door flew open and I sat down in this water puddle. And he laughed and laughed and laughed at me. We drove out to that place last summer, and everything is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they burned that.
Garage and the house and everything.
Sometimes they'll last forever, and sometimes they just
Well,
kind of go.
I think HR tore it down because
Either Edgeharts or Cornwall.
if you don't use it, you're paying taxes on that stuff.
Yeah, and if your cows start getting in it or something like that, there's
Yeah.
risk.
But Edgeharts, when they had it, when we first sold it to them, they took care, but Cornwall's, and didn't they have something to do with it later on?
Well,
They got it now.
They're still out there.
I think they're still running it. But you're talking about buildings falling down. Probably the one for me that was the saddest. Not that it made a whole lot of difference to the building, but that Quali place, way up north there at Genevieve.
Oh, yeah.
That building fell down about 5 years ago, and that was kind of sad. But it was just a homestead shack. I mean, it's not like you could ever use it for anything. But it was always kind of cool to have that. 'Cause, I mean, it was my great grandfather Ole Quali that started that. He wasn't there very long before he died, but. And then Olaf and Donna, and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I don't really know if Donna really lived up there very long at
Oh,
all.
she lived in Tampico.
But that was after Olaf had died, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, was he?
I can't remember.
It was. We used to go out there with the McElvains,
Mhm.
with Alice.
Yeah.
Maybe he was already dead. I can't remember. But I remember what Olaf looked like too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We have Grandma Donna's diaries. I'll have to go through them someday.
Oh yeah.
well, they moved that house that's up there over to the ranch house, over to where and they made I think a hired man's.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't, they didn't sleep there or anything, I don't know whether they went out there to eat or what they did.
Kind of a cook shack almost.
Well, no, they didn't cook in there. But I didn't quite understand what they did with it.
They just wanted something to look at.
It might have been. No, it was fairly well fixed up inside.
Where's it at now? Which way did
That house, they moved it over to the yard in the Hitchards. Don't you?
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they were using it for an office.
Oh, that makes
There
sense.
was an office?
Yeah, because I was in there, there was a desk and stuff.
You haven't been down to that Hinsdale livestock in a long time.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
had
think
a
it's
good-
really called that anymore, but
No, well, because after Joe and Jean got out of there.
Well, they sold that to a guy by the name of Carroll.
Then they-
All of his holdings around here.
yeah.
Because we drove up Rock Creek, and you get up on top of the hill, just before you go down Rock Creek, there's a sign up there. Carroll's land.
Yeah, they don't want you on it.
Well, we were talking last night up there at the supper about hunting, and I said, well, you guys have never been hunting if you haven't been hunting with Elmer Burns. Well, what's so different about that? I said, well, you know, he'd go hunting with us, and then he'd always, when he'd quit, he'd go up to the bar. And I said, the number of birds that we shot always doubled when he got to the bar. But you know, I had, we of course we got goose hunting, we always had breakfast early in the morning, like 4 o'clock or something like that. And, so I volunteered breakfast one year, and Elmer said, okay, you cook the breakfast, I'll bring in the pancakes. Okay. Well, he brought in pancakes, they were sourdough. Well, was it Clark Cleveland or one of the,
No, it was Kenny, McKinney.
one of the teachers that were going out with us, and they got some pancakes and went in and started eating them, and they come out and poked me on the shoulder. I said, what's the matter? Hey, you know them pancakes are spoiled, Bob? I said, no, them are sourdough. Well, Elmer was there listening. He said, oh God, he said, didn't I remember to take my socks out of that?
Larry McKinney.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He knew how to get it,
Yeah,
put a joke at those
He
teachers,
was
huh?
a math teacher.
oh, well, where he